the roller coaster ride. Most of us have compared entrepreneurship to it at some point in time or another. We have all experienced the super exhilarating highs and the equally as anxiety-producing lows. But what you may not have considered is that your entire family is along for the ride with you. And if you're lucky, your spouse is sitting in the cart right alongside you, experiencing each and every hill, twist, turn, and thrill. My dad was an entrepreneur. My husband's obviously an entrepreneur. Now I'm an entrepreneur. I have experienced this roller coaster from every angle. I've spent the past decade gathering data and interviews from several hundred entrepreneurs and their spouses in an effort to learn about the best practices of the most satisfied couples, 60% of whom were EOers, just like you. Today, I'm going to share 3 of my data points with the help of a few roller coaster analogies. My first point is about sharing more information about the business. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, I don't really want to share more information about the business. But what you need to know is that the data confirms spouses do want to know more about the business. Now, they may not want you to bombard them with every single thought you have in your mind. And let's be honest, they may actually enjoy a dinner conversation that's not all about the business. But overall, the data says spouses do want to know more. When you share about the business, both the positive and the negative aspects, your spouse's trust and confidence actually increase. In addition, your spouse's belief in your ability to succeed as an entrepreneur also increases. Now, I'd like to do a little simulation with you, and I'd like you to close your eyes and place your hands over your eyes and keep them there. Imagine you're going up a roller coaster. All right. How much further to the top? Is it 1 hill or 2? Are we there yet? You can uncover your eyes now.
Ready for the drop.
Frustrated, anxiety-ridden, impatient. This is how many spouses feel when you don't share about the business on a regular basis. Now, you may choose not to share because you don't want to burden your spouse, or maybe you really don't want their direct feedback. Perhaps you're waiting to get the company to a certain point before you share. Regardless of the reason, when you don't share on a regular basis, you're essentially covering up your partner's eyes, increasing their anxiety, and not allowing them to experience the ride with you. My second point is about creating a shared vision for your future. Because if you want one thing out of life and your spouse wants something completely different, that's where trouble can really come into play. But if you have a shared vision that has components that are important to both of you, it makes this roller coaster ride a little bit easier. We looked at our database and we found that entrepreneurs scored lowest in terms of overall life satisfaction. So we scoured the database and found an awesome statistic that points to something that entrepreneurs can do directly to increase their level of satisfaction and happiness. We found that entrepreneurs who set shared long-term business and family goals with their significant others scored higher in every single area of satisfaction than those who didn't. And we looked at about 16 different measures of satisfaction, and we found that those who set those shared goals were upwards of 33% happier than those who didn't have the shared goals. We were also surprised to find that only 35% of entrepreneurs set the shared business goals, and 56% set the shared family goals. So there's a lot of room for improvement there. Now this next video is a little clip that shows what can happen when you're not on the same page with your partner. Apologies ahead of time for the foul language.
Shit, 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 shit. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this shit. Oh my god, oh my god, I don't want to do this shit. Holy shit, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. Oh shit, you're always pushing me to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh my god, I want to break up. I want to break up.
So clearly, this couple did not have a shared vision prior to getting on the roller coaster. And though your ride may be a bit bumpy along the way, creating a shared vision for your future will go a long way in ensuring that your spouse is sitting in the cart at the end of the ride. So my last point is about establishing communication protocols. The data shares that 81% of our database, the entrepreneurs had experienced cash flow problems at some point in time with the company. The data also revealed that during those times of cash flow problems, entrepreneurs reported that they, as a couple, the number one way that they handled those cash flow challenges was that their sex lives decreased. Now, it has been widely documented that the top 2 reasons for divorce: money and sex. So during my workshops, I work with a lot of couples on teaching them effective communication techniques so they don't wind up saying things they don't really mean and will eventually regret. Now I want to take a minute and talk about the brain and how the brain works. When somebody gets angry, they go into something called fight or flight. And at that time, 30% of the blood rushes away from your brain and into the other major muscles of the body. Thus, you literally can't think straight. Whoever said never go to bed angry definitely didn't understand brain chemistry. So this last video is a great example of how the brain works under stress. This guy was given all of the answers to the following questions just seconds before this video clip, and he gets them all wrong.
How many runs did the Dodgers score in the game?
19.
What team did the Los Angeles Dodgers play?
Oh my God! Oh, I can't even hear anything! Oh my God! Oh, holy crap! Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay, repeat the last one! Repeat the last one! Okay. Ask me a question. Holy! Oh my God! Oh.
What team did the Los Angeles Dodgers play?
Giants! Wow!
What's it called when you hit a home run, a triple, a double, and a single?
Like an overall something. Wow!
What?
Holy God!
I can't hear you.
This is nuts! Oh my God!
So the next time you engage in a fight, don't. Take a step back, take a deep breath, count to 10, go into a different room. Just remember, you're not thinking clearly during fight or flight. So to recap today, 3 ways to ensure your spouse is sitting in the cart next to you at the end of the ride. Share more information about the business. Create a shared vision for your future. And establish communication protocols. Because the goal of this ride is to come to a complete stop with your hands, your head, and your heart firmly intact. Thank you.